Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your 2071 Perfect League World Series coverage. I am your host, DRC, and I will be master of ceremonies, broadcaster, and analyst for tonight's proceedings, as we've got a doozy of a matchup here between the Miami Tamps and the Highland Deer. And as we always do, what we will do here tonight is we will follow this World Series. We will set this up, look at what made these teams special and unique this year, how they got to this point here on the stage with an opportunity to win a Perfect League title, which is the highest honor that can be achieved within the Perfect Team ladder. We will watch the play-by-play. We'll watch the highlights of each game. Within each game, we will set up all of the matchups. We will, from a data-driven perspective, contextualize what we're seeing, contextualize what's unfolding in front of us with the data that has been extracted from Perfect League from weeks past. And I couldn't be more excited to bring it to you tonight. Now, this World Series is going to have a heck of a time living up to last week's World Series. If you didn't happen to join us, and I see the victim here in the chat, Jay Modenhall, hanging around in the chat saying, I hope someone else gets their soul snatched away in front of a couple hundred people tonight. And that is not hyperbole. That is not hyperbole. In case you want to check it out, in case you care to view the VOD, let me just remind you of what we saw go down in Game 7 of last week's World Series. We saw Jay Modenhall in the 9th inning of the World Series, trailing by 1, load the bases, and have the game end and the World Series end on a play at the plate on an attempted sac fly. Ken Griffey Jr. lifted a fly to left. Hank Aaron squeezed it, fired home, and threw out Ricky Henderson at home plate for the third out in the inning, and Ricky representing the tying run there in the 9th inning. It was unbelievable. So we'll see what we have in store tonight between the Tamps and the Deer. But before we get to that, I want to update you guys on something. So many people have been wondering, many people have been asking, what's the plan? It's no secret that come Friday, we're playing on PT22. And those games count. Come Friday, the new version is launched and it is ready to rock and roll. But there will not be a Perfect League likely until early June. So what's going to happen to this broadcast? Well, I've got some updates for you. So we are obviously doing the Perfect League broadcast tonight, 2071. We are going to also be doing the Perfect League broadcast 1 week from today for Perfect League year 2072. And that will be the final one. That will be the last Perfect League World Series for Perfect Team 21. And we will then turn our focus to Perfect Team 22. So to bridge us from the World Series of PT21 to the eventual World Series of PT22, we're going to unveil a new show type. We'll still be meeting here on Sunday nights. We will still be hanging out here. You're not getting rid of me that easy. We're still going to be looking at data. And in fact, data is going to take the center stage. So what could be more important and what could better inform the early Perfect League champions of PT22 than the data that's being extracted from the highest level leagues that are available to us? So on that show, we're going to be looking at the top performers. Now, we know that there's a ton of changes coming in the next game. We know that the models themselves, the engine itself, has been reworked. So we're going to need to rewire a lot of our muscle memory. We are not just going to be able to look for our Ichiro profiles Look for our high BABIP profiles and know that they're going to be our core players. We're going to need to understand what really is a core player in PT22. And so that will be the primary focus of the show. We're going to be looking at extracted data. We're going to be looking at how power hitters are doing, how contact hitters are doing, how balanced hitters are doing, how high I, high avoid K, low avoid K. We're going to be looking at it all. And then we're going to be trying to help inform you guys as you're making those tough decisions to start building your team and building your way up the ladder. In addition to looking at player performance, we're going to look at team performance. So as people are matriculating their way up the perfect team ladder, we'll be calling out notable achievements. We'll be calling out notable observed performances, whether they be team statistics, if someone is blown it out of the water from a home run or a stolen base perspective, what their team build will look like. And so the purpose of the show is not going to shift. We're still looking to contextualize the perfect league champions of tomorrow, but we are going to do so in anticipation by looking at the teams and the data and the card performance leading our way up to when we do have a perfect league World Series again. And depending on how long that takes, perhaps we cap off each show with a perfect draft. So we're probably looking at 8 weeks or so, 8 to 10 weeks of that bridge program. I think I'm going to call it Practice Makes Perfect League, but that's still in the lab. We'll see how that goes. All right. So enough about prepping for next week. Let's prep for this World Series here. And the best way we're going to be able to do that is by looking at the teams that are within it. We'll start with Highland Deer. So Highland Deer have been here before. The Highland Deer have won the Perfect League before. So they are no stranger at all to this moment. Let's take a look at the team itself. So, as I always like to do, the first thing that I look at when looking at a team is I look at runs scored and runs allowed. How well do they score it? How well do they prevent it? And here you see roughly a 100 run differential team taking the form of a high offensive build, second in the conference, second of 20 teams, so right near the top. And then from a run prevention perspective, hanging around right around the middle. So 720 runs allowed, which is good for 8th out of 20 in the conference. And then the very next thing I look at is how important was defense to this team? How defensive is this build? And we see the efficiency is below our landmark of 0.7, which tells me that this is more of a middling defensive team than an elite one, but definitely not a train wreck by any means. We've got a positive ZR, and we're just below that 0.7 waypoint there. So not a bad defensive team, but definitely not a great one either. From a home road perspective, we see pretty contrasting splits here. At home, King Julian won 2/3 of his games, a 54-win season at home. Good for a .667 win percentage, but did struggle mightily on the road. So the team in the World Series tonight only able to pick up 34 wins away from their friendly confines. We'll see if they struggle to pick up some road wins here in the World Series tonight. From a calendar perspective, we see a pretty even performance throughout the calendar year. Couple months up, couple months down, but we have our outlier in July. A 21-win month in July, which anytime you eclipse 20 wins in perfect, a lot has aligned for you, and that's going to give you a great chance of getting into the postseason, and clearly the Highland Deer have done that. Let's talk about the ballpark. So the Highland Deer play at a Lefty Cheese Park. We're back in the cheese business. Last week we didn't have any cheese, but this week we've got it back. And so what is a cheese park, you ask? A cheese park is when you are favoring a handedness. And in this case, we're favoring lefties. We are bringing their average and home run factor to the max. 1.1 for each. We are nerfing out our righties. We're going 0.9 on the average, 0.9 on the home runs. the minimum allowed. And then as far as extra bases are concerned, he's going completely neutral with doubles, which is the most relevant of the two figures, and then minning out the triples. Let's talk players. So we've got a Pop Lloyd, guys. We have got a Pop Lloyd tonight. Starting shortstop versus right-hand pitching. Pop Lloyd serves in a shortstop platoon with Brooks Robinson. I can't recall the last time that we saw Pop Lloyd playing as a primary starter at shortstop here in the Perfect League World Series. Now, we've seen him at second, playing the Keystone with an Ozzy Smith or with a Mark Belanger, but tonight he's playing shortstop, and again, platooning with Brooks Robinson. And so we talked about them being somewhat of an average defensive build, and that could be at the heart of some of it. Pop Lloyd, a less defensive option than a Belanger or an Ozzy Smith at short. Same could be said for Brooks Robinson. And the reason that both of these guys are at short is because King Julian is trying to find a way to shoehorn that Nap Lajoie bat into the lineup. And the way to do so in this build is at second base. And so Nap Lajoie is your everyday player at second base. Had a great season here. OPS over 800, 25 homers, 80-plus runs and RBIs. Picked up 9 steals for good measure as well. We have Roger Connor sighting at first base. So Roger Connor, meta first baseman for the vast majority of this game cycle, now starting to lose some market share and lose some production baseline to other options. But King Julian still deploying him to maximum effectiveness here in a platoon fashion. 805 OPS on Roger Connor, led by that solid on-base percentage. We talked about no Belanger, no Ozzy. Let's talk about pitching. So from a pitching perspective, we have traditional starts all season long. No deviations from the rotation in terms of mixing in other starters here or there. Definitely wasn't always start highest rested rotation, as you see with Max Fried getting so many fewer starts than Spawn, Pedro, and Glavin. And this is the first time that I can recall Max Fried being used as a traditional starter. 134 innings pitched from Max. And as you see from the game log, most of these were traditional starts where he's picking up 20-plus batters faced. The couple times he was less than that, looks like he was shelled. So 6 earned in this deviation from that, 5 earned in this deviation, 7 earned in this one. So I don't think that Max was put on a batter face max or on a pitch count, a low pitch count or anything. He was just thrown out there as a 5th starter. And we see Walter Johnson in the most important bullpen role, playing the role of the stopper, picking up 106 innings over the course of the season and doing so with maximum effectiveness, 2.28 ERA on Walter Johnson. You see that's fueled primarily by an incredibly low and unsustainable BABIP, but he was able to get through the season with that performance, and he is a very important reliever, so we'll want to watch his utilization here in this World Series. All right, let's look at path. We'll pick up our pace a little bit here. Highland Deer. So, in round 1, they get their toughest match in terms of their difficulty getting through the playoffs. They faced UOK's Honey Badgers. They found themselves down 2-1 in the series, so facing elimination in a Game 4, and they were tied in the 8th inning of that Game 4, able to pull that one out late. And then in Game 5, they were losing in the 9th. And in the 9th inning, able to get home runs from both Willie Mays and Ken Griffey Jr. to steal Game 5 and then move on to the second round, from which they were able to take down Snowball in 6. And then the Mercenaries in a clean sweep in the semis allowing him to have completely rested pitching here on the dawn of the World Series. Let's talk King Julian history. Now, King Julian has had a low-key, incredible game cycle here. This is his 19th week in the Perfect League. I don't have the records in front of me, but I bet you can't count on two hands teams that have more than 19 weeks in Perfect. Maybe even one hand. But 19 weeks in Perfect, 13 of those weeks ending up in postseason bids. And then one of those weeks ending up in a Perfect League World Series championship. And you see that in the calendar year 2048. And so tonight they're playing for their second title of this game cycle. CF Genesis 1972 asking why Knapp is so popular. Well, he's so popular because he hits the heck out of the ball. I normally don't show this until later on in the stream. But if you see in the bottom right corner, these are your top hitters from Perfect League this week. You see Knapp Lajoie right here showing up as 9th on the list in terms of pure bat value. And he's doing that from a middle infield position, making him one of the rarest unicorns in all of Perfect League. Don't sleep on Knapp Lajoie. That's my best advice for you. All right, let's talk Miami Tamps. We've got 3 minutes here before a sim, so we're going to have to go Micro Machine style and speed this one up. Miami Tamps, from a run scored perspective, third in the league, 828, 724 runs allowed, so right around that 100 mark that King Julian's at. However, this team even less defensive than King Julian. Negative 22 on the zone rating, .685 on the efficiency. So a team that's definitely trading some defensive prowess for bats. We'll see that in the build here just in a second. Home road-wise, another team similar to King Julian, much better at home. 617 at home, 457 on the road, which creates an interesting matchup here where both teams significantly better in their own home park. Speaking of the home park, we've got what I'll call neutral with a twist. So this park is going to play pretty darn neutral. It's got some nuance to it. Lefties have just the slightest average edge over righties. Lefties have a slight home run power advantage over righties. Your doubles are tweaked up by a couple points here. But for all intents and purposes, we're going to go ahead and call this one a neutral park. Let's talk players. We've got an everyday Jackie Robinson at second base. Not the first time we've seen it. We don't see it a ton. And in so doing, when you throw out SE Jackie every day at second base, that's going to be the primary culprit in your rough defensive stats. Now, Jackie did reward him with a pretty solid season with the bat. 351 on the on-base percentage, 39 steals. And so he was rewarded handsomely in terms of some bat value here from Jackie. But you see that ZR at negative 12.4, so a rough season with the glove for Mr. Jackie. Up the middle at shortstop, we've got Ozzy and Cal in a traditional platoon. We've got Griffey and Mays splitting center field. And then our other platoon being Roger Connor and Hank Aaron. From a pitching perspective, we've got a very traditional, not even an always start highest rested, but a strict rotation of your 5 horses. 5 horses being Pedro at the top, Walter, Spawn, Maddox, and then Clemens being that 5th pitcher who has moved to the bullpen here in the postseason. As far as priority relievers, we've got Trevor Hoffman and David Price picking up the most innings and doing so in great fashion. All right, quickly we move on to the path here. So the Tamps, they go 3-0 over Extreme UW's Marshall Cardinals in the first. And then they go 4-1 over the Indians in the second. And then a cardiac series with the Cleveland Naps in the semis, going 7 games and pulling that one out. Winning Game 7 in convincing fashion, 7-2. historically, the Tamps have been here before as well. So the Tamps, 10 years in perfect, 5 years in the playoffs. Now, this is their second appearance on this broadcast. This is their second time they found themselves playing for a Perfect League title. They were unsuccessful last time around. They are trying to change that narrative here tonight. So those are the two teams. That's your setup. Who's going to win, guys? In the chat, I want to hear who's going to win tonight and in how many games you think they're going to do so. Do we have Highland Deer winning their second title, putting the exclamation point on this game cycle as their focus shifts to PT22? Or do we have the Miami Tamps breaking through, adding their name to the number of unique users that have won the Perfect League World Series, doing so in their second attempt? Yuka's got me in 9. Bold take. This is a best of 7, just to be clear. Slibber's got the Deer in a reverse sweep. Extreme UW, good to see you in the chat, buddy. Sorry to see you didn't make it out of the first. Going with the Tamps. Cheese Truck asking if Kidneys and I will be around on Thursday. The answer is yes. We're going to be talking about that more later on in the show. Tamps in 7, Tamps in 6. We got Port Dog taking Julian to get his second title in 6. We've got Borscram with a nice pun. Hubert Farnsworth picking against his nemesis. All right, it is time to party. It is time to get to game number 1. So allow me to do the magic on my end and pull up the simulation so that we can get right to the games, as we are just crossing 7 p.m. local time here tonight. Let's check and see if we've got a simulation to show. And we don't. Let's try to reload that. Dogberry's got the Tamps. Says the Tamps are going to be champions tonight. Do we have either the Miami Tamps or the Highland Deer in the chat tonight? I haven't seen them yet. All right, Port Dog giving me a little assist there. No sim yet. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah, we're at such an interesting inflection point of the game cycle. You know, PT22 not out yet. The trophies have stopped for PT21, but PT21 World Series, at least where I sit, still the main attraction, the main event for a given week. So we've got this broadcast, we've got next week's broadcast, and then we fully turn our focus and attention to PT22. And we have the long ladder up to the point where we have a PT22 Perfect League World Series for the first time. Boy, will that be exciting. I'm excited to see the new stadiums. Those could certainly add some more color and context to the broadcast. I'm excited to see if there's been any changes at all to the highlight engine. You know, every once in a while we see something that's kind of funky. Maybe that gets ironed out a little bit. We'll see. Tim Gross is a Gold League champion. Congrats to Mr. Gross. If we've got any other champions in the chat, let's hear about it. Did you win your Diamond League? Are you on your way up to Perfect? Did you win Gold? On your way up to Diamond? Let's hear about it. The Naperville Nomads, captained by yours truly, had an incredible second half of the season. I want to say I went something like 46-19, but did not make the playoffs. I had dug a hole big enough for myself in the first half that I missed the playoffs by one game. Dogberry's a gold champion. I Rock This is a green sim away from being a gold champion. FCF Pal won gold 303. Congrats to you. Cheese Truck's got an MVP Anson on his team. And I'm going to try to load up our Game 1 sim again. Hey, what's going on, Snowballers? I believe we shared a division, did we not? And I think you won that division. All right, Game 1 of this World Series, still stubborn and not willing to come to the fore. Gen Xer 69 on his way back to perfect. Perhaps he'll be here on this stream next Sunday. Yeah, Port Dog, let me know if you see a sim on your end. I'm still pulling up dust on mine. Oof, wins 120 in gold and makes that same noise as he's out in the divisional series and will be remaining in gold for next week. I Rock This trying to win a Game 7 in a postseason where he's gone to 7 in the semis, gone to 5 in the divisional series. Were you a wild card team too? Who here is ready for PT22? Who here is ready for a new version, a new set of cards, a new meta to uncover, a new game engine to decode? Who's ready? I know I am. I am excited to get into data extraction. We've got double splits coming. So let me explain to you guys the relevance of that. You probably already know. But from my perspective, one of the hardest things for me to contextualize with my data is the impact of these cheese parks. Because when I go to extract the data, I can extract the split for home stats. I can extract the split for versus right. I can extract the split for starter, for reliever, but I can't do any of those in conjunction with the other. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm going to have a much better chance of analyzing the data to say, okay, Tony Gwynn in this park looks like this, and Tony Gwynn in that park looks like that. Whereas now we are left to mostly guess. Sim Engine really keeping us on our toes here. Not wanting to give us that game 1 too soon. Perhaps it's like a 19, 20, 25 inning affair that it's just cranking away on right now. While we wait for game 1, I'll go ahead and tease what you guys can expect on Thursday. So first off, you've got to join Chris's stream on Thursday. First stream of the season. He's going to go through the live SEs. You do not want to miss it. I'm guessing that there's going to be more than a little revealed about the game on that stream that we might not know today. And I think it's really the kickoff. If anyone's ever watched a Super Bowl, you know how in the kickoff there's a billion people taking a billion photos? That is what Thursday is going to be. That's the official kickoff, to me, of the game cycle. So you definitely don't want to miss that. And then the moment that's done, the moment Chris is done doing what Chris does, Kidneys and I go live for the first time in 2 months, and we will break down all the cards. We will tell you what we think of them. Now, we're not going to be blinded by the fact that there are game engine changes and game engine changes that we do not have enough information to from an informed perspective, tell you exactly how good or bad cards will be. A lot of that is going to be a wait and see, but we'll give you our thoughts on what we expect. And after we are done looking at the cards, we are going to move into OK Boomer, OK Zoomer, and we have got a new format to debut this week. New format. I've shared what it's going to look like in the Discord, but for anyone who doesn't know, maybe we'll just let it be a surprise. Should be a lot of fun. And then what we're going to end the show with this week, is kind of a review preview type segment where we educate anyone who's new on what worked in PT21 from both a card perspective, from a strategical alignment and deployment perspective. And then we're also going to preview what we think will work in PT22 and really where those focus points should be for someone who's brand new. Because we do anticipate that come Thursday, there's going to be a good population of people watching their very first stream. All right, still waiting on our Game 1 sim over here. Mokos Locos wondering if Babe Ruth is going to be a big contributor. I'll say that the Babes that we got were not busts this game cycle. When the Babes were dropped, they had at least marginal utility. I remember rocking the Team of the Decade Babe Ruth for probably a good 5 or 6 week stretch. I remember the most recent Babe coming out and putting up pretty decent numbers. But I am excited that we could live in a world where Babe and Meta belong in the same sentence. Sox fan 1966 asking when the drops switch from 21 to 22. I don't know for a fact. Michael OCPA could have the date for you there. Gorgo 2005 reporting that Dishnet could be winning his World Series and on his way to perfect. Still no Game 1. The tap dancing continues. I'm going to try something different. Let's see what happens. Oh, Port Dog, are you saying that it's 1 minute until the actual game sim? Now, that would make a lot of sense if I just jumped the gun here. I thought that 14 minutes ago we should have had Game 1 and we're sitting here waiting. But I could be off. Aha! That's interesting. All right, well then we'll wait another minute and we'll be ready to rock and roll. I wonder if there was an extra rest day sneaked in there or something. Chuck8403 asking about Loyola Chicago. So my neighbor right across the street from me went to Loyola Chicago, and they were in quite the chipper mood this early afternoon. And so I thought that could be indicative of something. And it certainly was. And I've got a number of other friends that are huge U of I fans, and so I don't have a dog in that fight. But definitely a lot of people in the Chicagoland area charged up about that game. And those outside the Chicagoland area with brackets that have either been busted or been saved by that particular game. Hey, Port Dog, tell me what day count we'll be on after this 7:15 sim comes in. By my count, we should be on day 213. But let me know if I'm off base on that. All right, let's load up this sim and see where we're at. Four went to U of I. Port Dog reporting our sim is in. I went to pull it and came up with nothing, but let's try again here. Port Dog, let me know if you're able to check on that day count there, if it is indeed 213 or if I'm off a day. Yeah, we will be moving and shaking here any minute now. Once we get this first sim, we'll be on our way. There we go. We've got it. We have got it. So let's get started here. So we are in Highland to start this series. Got a beautiful little stadium here. Some funky outfield dimensions for Ken Griffey Jr. and Shoeless Joe Jackson to navigate. But the most important thing to keep in mind for this game here is that it's a strong lefty park. Lefty hitters are going to be in a position to do some damage in this park, whereas righties are going to have less of a chance to do so. So we'll get this game started with face of the franchise, Pedro Martinez on the hill, facing a Miami Tamps lineup that is just loaded to the gills with lefties. A tough and tall task for Pedro, but let's see how he handles it. Let's start this game off with Ty Cobb. Pedro winds and delivers. Swing and a miss, strike three. Pedro Martinez starts off the World Series in style. A 93-mile-per-hour fastball in the outer half gets Ty Cobb swinging right over the top of it. One away here in the first. We go to the bottom half, and we see that the Miami Tamps are trotting out Walter Johnson for this one. Walter Johnson's facing a lineup laden with lefties as well. 7 lefties on his lineup card that he'll have to work into. The first of which is Shoeless Joe Jackson. And Shoeless Joe will get us started here in the bottom of the first. Day 212. Thanks a lot, Port Dog. Wind and the pitch. And that ball's cranked. Deep left field. Heading back as a left fielder, and he won't get there. A leadoff home run for Shoeless Joe Jackson. Starting off the home half of the first in style for the Deer. They grab an early 1-0 lead. Still in the first, we've got Boggs aboard, 1 away. And Gwynn stepping up to the plate. The pitch. Gwynn rifles that one into the right center field gap. Boggs on his horse heading to third. He'll get to third, and he will head on home from there. The throw goes to third, not in time. Call it an RBI triple for Tony Gwynn, which plates Boggs and doubles up the Highland Deer lead from 1-2 here in the first inning. We go top 2 now. Highland Deer now protecting that 2-run lead. Ken Griffey Jr. in the box with Jackie Robinson aboard. 1 away. The pitch. And that ball's crushed. Don't even think about it. That ball's long gone. 435-foot blast off the bat of Ken Griffey Jr., which will give us a brand new ball game here in the second. An 86-mile-an-hour slider that did not quite slide. And Ken Griffey Jr. turns it around and turns it into a souvenir 15 rows up in one of the deepest parts of this ballpark. 2-2. We go top 5. Pedro still on the mound for the Deer. Ozzy Smith aboard and Ty Cobb batting. 1 away. The pitch. And that ball's crushed deep to left field. It might be. It could be. It is. A 2-run homer off the bat of Ty Cobb. Able to get fully extended on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball in the outer half of the plate. An excellent piece of hitting, which now supplies the Miami Tamps with a 2-run lead here in the midpoint of game number 1. We go bottom half now. Highland Deer working from behind for the first time. They'll send up Shoeless Joe. Now he started this game off in fashion with a lead-off home run in the first. What does he have in mind here in the fifth? Ahead in the count, 3-1 the pitch. Ball 4. Shoeless Joe works his 5th walk of the postseason, and the leadoff man is aboard. He quickly steals second base, and Ty Cobb sits in the batter's box here with an opportunity and a man in scoring position. 1-0 count the pitch, and that ball's crushed into the right center field gap. Easily scoring is Shoeless. Cobb on his horse on his way to second. He's going to stop there. An RBI double for Cobb cuts the Miami Tamps lead in half. Still nobody out here in the 5th. Ty Cobb takes third on a fielder's choice from Wade Boggs, and up comes Tony Gwynn. The infield of the Tamps will come in, attempting to make a play at the plate. Tony Gwynn looking to serve one out to the outfield. He's up in the count, 3-1. The pitch. And that ball's crushed. Deep left center! Gone! A home run off the bat of Tony Gwynn. Walter Johnson runs this fastball up in the triple digits, but Tony Gwynn, unfazed, turns it around with a little Oppo Taco action, putting this one 409 feet out into left center field and recapturing the lead for the Highland Deer. We go top 7. Pedro still in this game, despite allowing 6 hits, 4 runs, being sent out there for this 7th inning. He'll face Joe Mauer here with 1 away. The pitch. Little blooper up the middle single. 1 out single, Joe Mauer. That brings up Ozzy Smith, but Ozzy Smith will not bat. No, the Miami Tamps are going to the bench. They are pulling out their ace in the hole. That, in this case, is Willie Mays. Willie Mays will step up with 1 out here in the 7th. Miami Tamps playing to capture that run that they need ever so much right now here in the 7th. 2-2 count on him. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Huge strikeout from Pedro Martinez. We go to the bottom of the 7th, and the Deer have a huge rally a-cookin'. We've got the bases loaded. Bases full of Deer with Shoeless at third, Ty Cobb at second, Wade Boggs at first, nobody out. Hal Newhouser on the mound. Let's set this one up. It's time to use our matchup analyzer. Look at that. We've got Hal Newhouser already ready to go. Now let's find some Tony Gwynn. So what you're looking at on your screen here is statistics from Perfect League for the past 3 weeks. So over the past 3 weeks, Hal Newhouser has pitched across all of the teams in Perfect League over 1,000 innings versus left-handed batters. And in those 1,000 innings, he's registered a FIP of 3, an elite number, a K9 of 13.8, an elite number there as well. You see Tony Gwynn, though, definitely no slouch against left-hand pitching, registering a very strong 292 average and a total bat value just slightly below water within this ballpark, which we know so heavily favors left-handed batters. I'm going to call this one nearly a neutral matchup, but let's see what plays out here. The Highland Deer fans come to their feet. A huge opportunity for insurance runs here in Game 1. Can they capitalize? The pitch. Fly ball center field. Sizing it up is Griffey. He'll make the catch, throwing home. They will cut the ball off and allow Shoeless Joe to trot home. Make it 6-4 Highland Deer on the sacrifice fly off the bat of Tony Gwynn. And that's how it's supposed to work, Jay Modenhall. Let me know if that's triggering some PTSD over there. But a sac fly bringing in an additional insurance run for the Highland Deer. We now go to the 8th, and they will turn to Walter Johnson. So let's contextualize this. Walter Johnson is the Highland Deer's most important reliever. He's their stopper. He registered their most bullpen innings, going well over 100 innings pitched. And he is now being burned in game number 1 here, which, depending on how long he goes, makes it very likely he will not be able to pitch in game number 2. And as that ace reliever, it only increases the importance of making sure you secure the game in which you use your ace reliever. He's got 2 runs to work with here. It wouldn't surprise me if the Highland Deer are going to look to Walter Johnson to get all 6 remaining outs in this one. Let's see how he does. He'll face Tony Gwynn here to start the 8th. The pitch. Little blooper left field. That ball will get down. Falls in front of Tony Gwynn for a leadoff single here in the 8th. Very next batter, Shoeless Joe. He steps in, and he rifles one down the right field line. Retrieving it is Shoeless, firing it in. Able to keep Shoeless Joe at second and prevent Tony Gwynn from scoring. But the Miami Tamps are in business here in the 8th. Runners at second and third, nobody out. Next up, Rogers Hornsby. Rogers Hornsby will face Walter Johnson here. 1-0 count on him. Infield playing back, conceding the run in exchange for the out. The pitch to Hornsby. Line drive to the left side of the infield. Made a play deep in the hole by Pop Lloyd. Throws it across. They do get and retire Rogers Hornsby. But Tony Gwynn scores on the play. Make it 6-5 Deer now. 1 away. Next batter, Roger Connor. A dangerous hitter in his own right. 2-2 count. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. A huge strikeout from Walter Johnson. Pulled the string on that one. Sinks in a changeup on the outer half. Has Roger Connor swinging right over the top of it for a critical second out here in the 8th. That's going to bring up Jackie Robinson, and the Highland Deer fans not going to sit down for this one. Standing ovation as they root on Big Train to get out of this situation here in the 8th. The pitch to Jackie. Ground ball to short. Fielded deep in the hole. Long throw in time. An incredible play by Pop Lloyd. A very slow developing grounder deep into the hole. By the time it got to Pop Lloyd, Jackie was basically at first. In one motion, he picks up the ball, fires it to first, and somehow able to just beat the hustling Jackie Robinson and strand a runner in scoring position. Nothing doing in the Highland Deer half of the 8th, which means this game will come down to the 9th. Highland Deer protecting a one-run lead. They will start off this inning versus Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Jr. has already put one into the seats today, and boy, would Tamps fans love another one of those here. The line and the pitch. Ball 4. Gabagoo I see you in the chat. I see you, my friend, and I'm not playing this game. I am not playing this game. All right. So we've got the leadoff walk, and now Ricky Henderson comes into the game. So Walter Johnson, ace reliever of the Highland Deer, working with a one-run lead. He walks the leadoff batter, and then immediately into this game comes Ricky Henderson. Now, will he try to steal here? Joe Mauer is a double play threat. 1-0 count on Mauer. First check on the runner. Runner back. Another check on the runner, runner back. Walter Johnson paying extra attention to Ricky Henderson, understandably so. Joe Mauer has now worked the count full. The pitch. Strike 3 called. A huge strikeout for Walter Johnson. Much needed here in the 9th. Next batter, Cal Ripken Jr. Now, will we see Ricky on the move here? Cal Ripken, another double play candidate. The pitch. Ricky on the move. Throw down to second. Not in time. Ricky Henderson steals second base, which nullifies the opportunity for the ground into double play and puts him into scoring position for Cal. 1-1 count on Cal. The pitch. Henderson's going to go for third. The throw down, not in time. Henderson steals his second base of the inning on back-to-back pitches and now rests 90 feet away and 90 feet away from giving us a new ball game. 2-2 count on Cal. Infield in now. Infield shifted. 3 infielders to the left of second base. Fans on their feet wanting a strikeout of Cal Ripken Jr. Walter Johnson comes set. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Walter Johnson spins up a curveball. Not what Cal was looking for. Upsets his timing, and Cal unable to spoil the pitch. Swing and a miss. Third strikeout of the game for Walter. Now 1 out away from securing the Game 1 victory for the Deer. He'll have to get through Ty Cobb, one of the best hitters in this game, and in a ballpark that only amplifies his skill set. 1-2 count on Cobb. Game 1 hanging in the balance. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. The Highland Deer take Game 1. A back and forth matchup. Lots of high leverage moments, but at the end of this one, it came down to Walter Johnson in the role that he excelled in all season long as that ace reliever, as that stopper, getting all 6 outs needed to convert that 2-run lead into a Game 1 victory. Let's check out the box score before we move on to game number 2. So there it is, Pedro, solid start. 7 innings, 4 earned. Not great, but solid. Didn't walk anyone, 9 strikeouts, gave up the 2 homers. Turns it over to Walter Johnson. Walter not as clean as he has been in other games in this postseason as well as the regular season, but does just enough. Just enough to hammer this one down, stranding that tying run 90 feet away at third base. On the Miami side, we had Walter Johnson go and really not resemble himself from a control perspective. 5 free passes in 4 1/3 innings. Too much to handle there. Highland able to convert those 10 base runners into 5 earned runs via 2 homers. Lowry 6850 with a great question, opining if we will get different interpretive dance in PT22. We just don't know. We just don't know. All right, let's update the score bug. So, first person in the chat to type Highland or Deer will get their wish. Highland or Deer. You guys call the ball. Highland or Deer. Let's see who wins the fastest finger. I rock this. Of course, not choosing one of the 2 options. Going with High Deer, Rascal, parodying that. King Butcher with beers. Sid the Lizard with venison. Mr. Devil Dog with yes deer. We are at the point in the game cycle where even simple things are very difficult. Literally no one took the request seriously. All right, I'm just going to do it myself. We're going to go Deer. Deer win game 1. Let us move on to game 2. So this should be game and day number 213, which I was trying to load before and could not. Let's load it up now. And game 2 should be ready and a rockin' there for us. I am impressed at how quickly you guys came up with a number of good pun options there. That was pretty impressive. Yes Deer is probably my favorite, because he did use the Highland Deer version of Deer. That's what made it so special. All right, let's rock on in game 2 here. So at stake, we've got Highland Deer going up 2-0, or we've got the Miami Tamps stealing a game 2 and sending us back to Miami all tied up at 1. Now, we know both of these teams struggle to win on the road. We know that from our intro. So really the pressure, you could almost argue, is more on Highland Deer for this one, as protecting home turf might be the most important thing in this series. So we'll send out Tommy Glavin. Tommy Glavin's going to face a lineup of only 3 lefties, 6 righties on the slate for him. He'll start off this game, though, with Ty Cobb. 1-0 count on Ty. Wind and the pitch, and that one's laced up the middle for a base hit, a leadoff single for this ball game. Cobb starts off game 2 with a rocket single up the middle, turning around a fastball of Glavin right where it came, right up the box. Cobb has worked his way around from first to third. There's 1 away now as Shoeless Joe steps up with every opportunity here to give the Tamps an early lead. The pitch, and that one's laced to center field. Making a sliding catch is Ken Griffey Jr. Now, he will have no chance to throw out the speedy Cobb at home, but he did save Tom Glavin from further damage there, as that sinking line drive would have been another base runner aboard. So elite defensive play by the Highland Deer Ken Griffey, but nevertheless, the Tamps now lead 1-0 here in the first. We go bottom 2. Highland Deer looking to not only tie it, but do more than that. They've got 2 aboard and nobody out, as Bob Feller is in this one for the Tamps, facing Pudge Rodriguez. The pitch, fly ball center, playable. Mays shifts over, makes the grab, tagging his Lajoie. He will make it to third without a throw. So a productive out off the bat of Ivan Rodriguez, which sets us up for Pop Lloyd. Pop Lloyd. What are you going to do, Mr. Pop Lloyd? Let's set it up in our matchup analyzer. We got to see. So into the matchup analyzer goes Pop Lloyd versus right. Into the matchup analyzer goes Bob Feller versus left. As you see, Pop Lloyd can hit. A 264 hitter, 358 on the slug. Only likes singles. Negative 15 on the bat value there. But he's facing a pitcher that can't throw any strikes. Bob Feller walking 7.5 men per 9 innings. A whip of 1.74 versus left-handed batters. A bad pitching matchup meets a bad hitting matchup. What will give? What will give? Full count. The pitch. Strike 3 called! Pop Lloyd goes down looking. Bob Feller had the confidence to spin up a 73-mile-an-hour curveball there and caught Pop Lloyd looking for out number 2 here in the second. And out number 3 recorded with no further damage. So the Highland Deer and Pop Lloyd unable to capitalize on the rally in the second. We now go to the third. Trying to spark a new rally here. Wade Boggs aboard. Wade Boggs aboard, Tony Gwynn to the plate. I'm having a hard time hiding my joy from that Pop Lloyd at bat. There's a single up the middle. Single up the middle. Wade Boggs round second. He'll stay there. Tony Gwynn with a 1-out single. There's now 2 aboard and 1 away. Up comes Ken Griffey Jr. still facing Feller. In this ballpark, with this lineup, Feller is just a horrible matchup. So Highland Deer has to be counting his lucky stars to have this matchup, and he's got to be feeling the pressure to capitalize on it. Ken Griffey now bats here with a 1-0 count. The pitch. Line drive right field. Base hit. Around third is Boggs. He will hold there. They will now have the bases loaded for Nap Lajoie here in the third. Primo scoring opportunity for the Deer. 1-1 count, the pitch. Little bloop beyond the infield. Infield fly rule called. Making the grab is Hank Aaron for the second out. Which brings up Roger Connor as the last hope. But we have got a fun situation here. The bases are loaded. Full count. 2 outs. So all 3 runners get a head start on this one. Roger Connor, known for his discerning eye, could very well walk in this situation. Let's pop him in the matchup analyzer so you can see what I'm talking about. Where's my Roger Connor? There he is. 364 on base percentage versus left or right-hand pitching. Feller not known for his control. Big moment here in this game. The pitch. Ball 4! Bob Feller walks in a run. And he's not out of trouble yet. He's got to get through Pudge Rodriguez. He's got him down 0-1 in the count. The pitch. Little blooper. Center field coming in as Mays. He will make the grab. Pudge will leave the bases loaded. But the Highland Deer do walk away with the RBI base on balls from Roger Connor, tying this game up. We go bottom 4, another chance for the Highland Deer to strike, and Bob Feller still on this mound. This is befuddling me how Bob Feller is not getting murdered in this ballpark against this lineup, but that is why they play the games. Perhaps it all changes here with one swing of Tony Gwynn's bat. The pitch. Fly ball center field. Mays working his way in. He will squeeze it. Another 2 runners left on base by the Deer, and we are still tied heading to the 5th. Here in the 5th, chance for the Tamps as Ty Cobb's got a highlight against Tommy Glavin with 2 out and nobody on. The pitch. That ball's crushed. Deep right center. Giving chase is Griffey. He can't get there. That ball's out of here. A 395-foot blast off the bat of Ty Cobb as Glavin hung a slider up in the zone. Cobb able to turn it around and get just enough to turn it into a souvenir. Make it 2-1 Tamps. We go bottom 7, and Bob Feller no longer in this game for the Tamps. Highland Deer are now going to have to earn it the hard way as David Price is facing Tony Gwynn with 2 outs and nobody on. Wind and the pitch. Grounder to short. Ripken picks it, throws it across. It's going to be 3 up, 3 down for David Price. We head to the 8th with the Tamps still protecting a 1-run lead. Top 8 now. Top 8, and the Tamps looking for some insurance runs. They're going to be efforting to get them against Bruce Sutter. Ty Cobb steps up. Now, last time up, Ty Cobb untied this game. With that blast, what does he have in mind for an encore? Sutter winds and delivers, and that's a little tapper. Sutter fields it. Throw to first, not in time. Sutter was slow to get off the mound, and Cobb hustling the entire way, able to beat out that one. An infield single for Cobb, starting up a little mini rally here for the Tamps in the 8th. Fielder's choice retires Cobb. Gwynn takes his place at first, and then Shoeless Joe comes up here with 2 out. The pitch. And that ball's crushed deep left field. Giving chase is Gwynn. He won't get there because that ball is out of here. A delicious Oppo taco from Shoeless Joe Jackson that was just a laser beam that got out of here in a hurry. Really transforms this game. From 2-1, we now go to 4-1. And the Tamps feeling comfortable, needing just 6 outs to secure this victory. We go top 9 now. Score unchanged. Tamps still batting, 2 out. Hoffman pitching to Ripken. Ripken laces a single left side. Swinging on 3-0 against a righty. So some aggressive hitting there from Ripken, but he does get the single. We now go bottom 9. Highland Deer down to their last out, down to their last strike. As the Tamps Mariano Rivera trying to put the finishing touches on this one. Shoeless Joe Jackson, the last hope for the Deer. The pitch. Up the middle, fielded it short, over to first in time. And it is dance time for the team from Miami. They have successfully come into Highland and split the series at 1 apiece. As we look back on this game, I cannot stop from thinking that a huge opportunity was missed from the Deer, facing an extremely vulnerable pitcher in Bob Feller in this park with this lineup for an extended period of time and not able to get to him. Let's look at the box score for the gory details. And there you see it. This was a traditional Bob Feller start. Oh my goodness gracious. A traditional Bob Feller start. So no stuff boost. No stuff boost for the Miami Tamps Bob Feller. And he walks 8 batters in 5 innings to go along with 3 hits. 11 base runners. But only one of them crosses home plate. This will be something that the Highland Deer look back upon if this series doesn't end up going the way of the Deer. But for now, it's just 1-1. As we update our score bug to say Miami. All right, beautiful. Now let's load up the most recent sim. Series tied 1-1. Port Dog letting me know we're on an off day. So 11 minutes from the next game, I take it. A little out of sorts with the Sims today. All right, perfect. So we are 11 minutes from a game 3. Let us use this time to look at some stats. We will start with the hitters. So to the surprise of nobody, Shoeless Joe Jackson, your best hitter in Perfect League this week, having a very routine 25.7 on the BAT-R metric that we look at for this weekly. That 25.7 BAT-R, if you are more comfortable with a triple slash, equates out to 325 on the average, 377 on the on base, and 504 on the slug. As you can see from His peers here, Shoeless Joe Jackson, the best in every of the three main categories, three triple slash categories. So he's the man. You want to win in Perfect League, get yourself a Shoeless Joe. You're going to need one. Ted Williams, a short sample Ted Williams, just under 1,000 plate appearances, actually shows up as our second best hitter this week. We've never seen him this high. It's not somewhere that I would expect him to be hanging around very frequently or sustainably going forward. But for at least a week, Ted Williams gets to wear the silver medal. 17.2 batting runs per 600 plate appearances. Very elite number and elite production observed there. Right behind him is Tris Speaker. So Tris Speaker has had some up weeks. He's had some down weeks. This was an up week for him. Now, part of it is that he is getting platooned more and more, so more favorable matchups for him, and boy, did he take advantage of them. An observed triple slash of Tris Speaker of 284, 355, 480. Good enough for the second highest OPS mark in all of Perfect League for this week. Now, the familiar faces come in right after Speaker, as you have Cobb, Gwynn, Boggs, Hornsby, all lined up in a row there. And we typically see them right around here in some order. Cobb a little lower than expected. We have a Juan Soto. So we don't see much Soto. I want to say we saw more Soto maybe 2 months ago or so. But we've got one popping up here, logging nearly 700 plate appearances. A very solid production, 8.2 on the batting runs. A low average, high OBP, solid slug. Triple slash line for him this week. And behind him, we've got Nap Lajoie. Far and away, your best middle infielder. So if we just slice this down to skill position infielders, and by skill position, I mean players who can play third base, shortstop, or second. He's hanging out with Wade Boggs and Rogers Hornsby, which is great. But it's even greater when you think about the fact that Boggs and Hornsby cannot play second base. They cannot go anywhere near second base. So the fact that you're getting such significant production out of Nap Lajoie up the middle of the diamond is just unheard of. That's why I called him a unicorn before. I'm going to highlight the players that, in my opinion, you can actually put at second base. And I'm definitely not going to highlight Pop Lloyd. Can't even imagine why anyone would think that. So really at second base, for me, you're thinking about Lajoie, Brooks Robinson, Ozzy Smith. Really, for me, it's just Lajoie and Robinson. And Lajoie is going to hit a ton more. Now, if you're Lefty Cheese Park, go ahead and Pop Lloyd it. The anti-Pop Lloyd stance has really... and I wouldn't say no to Belanger. Like, if you're playing Belanger, you are playing Belanger at shortstop. So I don't highlight Belanger here because if you're playing him at the most premium defensive position. So that's why he's not applicable. So Nap Lajoie, very impressive production there. We'll go back to our full view here. Let's take a look at our catchers for this week. So we have 3 catchers logging enough plate appearances to show up. We see that Pudge Rodriguez logging the most plate appearances. So nearly 11,000 plate appearances of the 24,000 total. So from a pure market share perspective, Pudge is inching up towards 50% market share of total plate appearances, which is pretty darn wild. And we see that Campanella getting more run than Mauer. So at this point in the game cycle, people have decided, the meta has decided that Mauer is really just a lefty cheese park guy only. And there are even lefty park players choosing not to include Mauer. And that has everything to do with his defense. His catching ability being lower which affects his catcher ERA, in turn affecting his pitchers. Campanella here with 8,000 plate appearances to Pudge's 11,000. Let's look in the outfield. So where are our hitters out here? So we already talked about the first half of these. But as we look at the back half, we've got Ken Griffey Jr. representing our very low bat value player. But the reason that he gets 10,000 plate appearances is because he's got the best glove you see on your screen. Ken Griffey Jr., an elite glove above and beyond every name you see on your screen here, well above all of them. I just toggled it to be our versus right split. And when you do the versus right split, you see Mays and Griffey get awfully close. So Griffey at -14 in the split, Mays at -8. So for all intents and purposes, their bats are about a couple runs different over the course of a season if we're just talking about the versus right plate appearances. And Griffey's going to give you a lot better defense. And so that's why it is my opinion that Griffey still does belong, even though his bat is not quite where Mays' bat is. When you are platooning with a lefty or a strong side platoon, you're able to reach around the 80% favorable matchup mark. And I would agree with you guys in the chat. I think that Knapp is a must. I think Knapp is absolutely fantastic. People didn't love the card because of the shape of it, because of the avoid Ks, because of the lack of eye. But his BABIP and his power, his playable power, just completely unheard of in the middle of the diamond. I can't really think of a build that I would subscribe to that doesn't have Knapp out there. Now, there are defense lovers, glove lovers out there that would do something like Belanger short Ozzy second, Belanger short Rabbit second, other builds that don't include Knapp. But for me, Knapp Lajoie's in the build. I think I missed a question from my dude Extreme UW in the chat. Who are the top left-handed pitcher starters after Spawn? Let's check that out. So let's go starters and see what we have here. We'll also toggle to be lefties only. So at the top of the list, you've got Tommy Glavin. So Tommy Glavin registering a 3.99 ERA, the only of the lefty starters under 4. But as anyone who owns Glavin or has used Glavin will tell you, you need to be careful. If you walk around with Glavin in a explosive park, a high BABIP park, you're in trouble. If you trot him into a righty cheese park, you're in trouble. And frankly, if you're in a lefty cheese park with max gaps, I don't really love Glavin there. So for me, Glavin is a BABIP depressed pitcher where you want him to be very shielded and very guarded in terms of when he's thrown out there. But to answer your question, who are the lefty starters to go around with Spawn? I think Glavin is the one that I trust the most of everyone you see on your list here. Steve Carlton, I'll run if someone is coming into a lefty cheese park and throwing a bunch of lefties. So oftentimes I like to have Carlton and Glavin both fully rested so that someone doesn't know whether they need to stack lefties or avoid them. Because if I go Carlton, they're going to want to avoid lefties. If I go Glavin, they might want to stack lefties. So I like having both to choose from there. And then if, say, my opponent is coming in showing me 7 lefties, I'll go Carlton. If they're showing me 3 lefties, I'll go Glavin. Yeah, Max Fried, I would not expect us to hang around this area here. I think he'd be higher. Luke 1111 asking in a lefty build who starts ahead of Pop. I still like Brooks Robinson. I think Brooks gives you more than Pop gives you. Pop is just such a zero with the bat. All right, let's go get to game number 3. Yeah, and if we're talking about Pop, if you're running Ozzy at short and Knapp at second, what do you need Pop for to begin with? Your VR lineup, I haven't run lefty in a while, but my VR lineup might just be Ozzy short, Knapp second. Brooks is not a lefty. All right, let's party. It's game 3 time. So a wild game 2 results in this series being all tied up. And now the Highland Deer need to do something they haven't been able to do all season, and that's win games on the road. And they'll have to do so against a team that's excellent at protecting their home park. So let's start this one off. We've got the Miami Tamps face of the franchise Martinez pitching into a very heavy left-handed lineup again here today. We start with Shoeless Joe. 37 degrees at first pitch. Going to be a cold one. We'll see if that results in a pitcher's duel. We'll start this game off with a rocket shot over to Jackie Robinson at second. Fields it cleanly, throws to first, 1 up and 1 down. Bottom 2 now. Tamps in business. They're facing the Highland Deer's Roger Clemens. And they've got that SC Jackie Robinson at the plate. Nobody out. The pitch. Grounder to second, could be 2. To second, 1 to first in time. Double play. Hornsby does move on up to third base. But 2 outs for the price of 1. And now this rally fizzles. We go to the bottom of the third. Mauer has worked his way to third base with 1 out, as Ty Cobb is tasked with bringing him home. The pitch, and Cobb laces a single to left field. The Miami Tamps strike first on an RBI single off the bat of Ty Cobb, scoring Joe Mauer from third base. Still in the third, 2 out now. Shoeless Joe comes up, as we saw. Shoeless Joe, the best hitter in Perfect League. Does he have a clutch 2-out runner in scoring position hit in that bat here tonight? The pitch from Clemens. Fly ball! Deep right field, that ball's down! Cobb will score easily, sliding into second with an RBI double. Is Shoeless Joe Jackson. Make it 2-0 Miami. We go top 4. Miami protecting that 2-run lead. The Deer have Boggs aboard and Gwynn at the plate. The pitch to Gwynn. Line drive, base hit left field. Boggs gets to second. He'll stop there. But now the Deer have 2 aboard and 1 away as their own Ken Griffey Jr. steps up. The pitch. And Griffey laces a base hit to right. Boggs around third. He'll stop there. Boggs not the fastest or best base runner, going station to station on both of the last 2 hits. And they are now loaded for Knapp Lajoie. Knapp down on the count, 1-2 to Pedro here. The pitch. Strike 3 called. A huge strikeout from Pedro Martinez. rolling out the rarely used curveball and a slow variant of it. 69 miles per hour out of the hand of Sir Pedro Martinez here. Getting the called third strike on the inner half of the plate. Hey, Luke, don't listen to Jay Modenhall in the chat. Or RDT. What do they know? Still top 4. Tamps 1 strike away from getting out of this one. Roger Connor at the plate. It's a full count with 2 outs. Runners will be in motion. The pitch. Ball 4. Pedro walks in a run. Make it 2-1. And they're not out of the woods yet. Pedro Martinez now will face Pudge Rodriguez. Miami Tamps fans on their feet. They want the punch out. They want the 3 stranded base runners. Will they get it? The pitch. Little looper. Left field heading out and making the grab is Ozzy Smith. The Deer score a run. They get 3 hits, but they strand 3 and still trail here as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Gorgo asking what's wrong with Pop and Brooksy. I just would rather have Knapp out there. I'd rather have Knapp. And now if we're talking about shortstop, I'd rather have Ozzy. So, I mean, Pop is not that much worse than Ozzy. That's fine. But Ozzy's better. So if you have all the cards, I don't think you're playing Pop. You got Knapp at second. So you're talking about shortstop. Yeah, so Ozzy and Brooksy, if you want to do it that way. All right, we go bottom 7. Tamps leading by 1, and they've got Ken Griffey Jr. up, but look at the lineup card. It's not any Ken Griffey Jr. Why, it's fire Ken Griffey. Now, what does he have in store for Roger Clemens here in the 7th? The wind and the pitch. And that ball is crushed to deep left center. It is down for extra bases. Griffey heading to second. He's not stopping there. On his way to third and sliding in with a triple. The fire strikes again. Now Ozzy Smith. He will bat with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position here versus Roger. The pitch, a little blooper, base hit up the middle. Ozzy Smith trying to win the hearts and minds of those considering playing Pop Lloyd over him as a platoon option in perfect team. We go bottom 8. Tamps looking to add more to their lead. They lead 3-1. They've got 2 aboard, though. 2 out for Roger Connor. The pitch. Line drive base hit to right field. 1 run will score. Hornsby around second. He'll get to third. Make it 4-1 Tamps. The fans will stay on their feet as we fast forward to the top of the 9th. It's now a 5-run Tamps lead, but they're 1 strike away from putting the finishing touches on a Game 3 victory. The pitch to Roger Connor. Strike 3 called. It's dance time for the Tamps as they now lead in this World Series 2-1. Let's get some fireworks going for the Tamps. We go to the box score. And Miami Pedro was pretty fire here tonight. 6 innings pitched, 6 hits. Only 1 earned run, struck out 4. He's got a 2.2 ERA in this postseason. He hands it over to Hal Newhouser, and Newhouser goes with a hero ball type relief appearance. 2 2/3 of perfect relief, striking out 4. before handing it off to Clemens to get the finishing out. On the Highland side, we had Clemens not do too horrible. 7 innings, 4 earned. He was pitching to contact in this one. Only 1 strikeout. And then turned it over to Price, who gave up a couple. And the Highland Deer now down 2-1 in the series. Let's set up Game 4. So Game 4, we are expecting Highland to throw out 100 Legend Maddox, and then Miami Tamps to answer with face of the franchise Maddox. Now that's a perfect time to show our stats. And look at the numbers from this season. Holy cow. Pay special attention to the top right of your screen here. Look at the contrast between 100 Legend Maddox this week and face of the franchise Maddox. That's almost a full run different. And a full run favoring the quote-unquote lesser Maddox. 487 on Maddox as a right-handed starter. 568 on face of the franchise. So we will have here in the World Series an opportunity, seemingly, for these two Maddoxes to duke it out and determine once and for all who is the ultimate Maddox, at least in 2071. The data sure suggests that we should be favoring the 100 Legend Maddox in that battle. And this is now, I mean, we are now going on a gigantic sample that tells us 100 Legend is better than face of the franchise. Let me increase our sample size here. We'll go to 10 years. Now, I didn't prep for this. I sure hope that the narrative that I'm spinning with my words comes true in what I'm about to show you here. But 10-year sample. We've got Legend Maddox at 468. Face of the franchise Maddox at 486. So as a starter, the lesser Maddox is the better Maddox. Now, in this sample, obviously it's a whole lot closer than what we observed in 2071. And that is consistent with, obviously, what we've seen here. So comparable, but push comes to shove. Legend Maddox is a very slightly better starter for you. Tech 15 saying the gap's been widening. Let's cut our sample. So let's chop off the 5 oldest years and just go with the most recent 5. And we see Legend at 468. And we see face of the franchise at 494. So that is consistent with what Tech is dropping on you in the chat. What is that, a quarter of a run different? So if you've been saving up, if you've been like, man, my team's going to be complete once I get that face of the franchise Maddox, divert those funds elsewhere. Do not pay that premium. Get yourself a 100 Legend and use those perfect points elsewhere. RDT with a great counterpoint in the chat. Legend is less shiny. And he couldn't be more right. Longhorn saying that his team will be all bronze next week. Inspired. All right, so Maddox v. Maddox, Game 4. Now, Highland, they were unable to protect their own home turf, which now puts them in a position where they have to win a game in Miami to even dream of pushing this one back to Highland. They struggled on the road this year. Can they pick up either this game or the next one? That will be what we'll be looking for. Let's reset our splits here. So again, we've got 100 Legend Maddox going for the Highland Deer. We've got face of the franchise Maddox going for the Miami Tamps. Let's load it up. Tech asking how big the sample size is on PTCS Koufax. Where are you, Mr. PTCS? So I'll go back to my 10-year slice on him. So 443 innings as a starter in the past 10 years in Perfect League. So that sounds like 2 seasons. 2 seasons in the past 10. We've had 1 Koufax in the top league. That's what that sounds like to me. All right, let's load it up. Let's get to game 4. Yeah, it's a tough thing about those super elite and exclusive cards. No guarantee they're going to end up bubbling up to the top league. All right, game 4 is awaiting for us. We start this game, and as promised, we have the Miami team rolling out face the franchise Maddox. He'll start this game off against Shoeless. I missed the temperature on this one. Hopefully it's still freezing. Shoeless Joe loops one down the left field line. Unable to get extra bases here, but he does start this game off with a single on a low exit velo looper down the left field line. Nothing additional comes from that top of the first for the Highland Deer. We go to the bottom of the second, and Miami looking to strike first. 2 aboard, nobody out. S.E. Jackie Robinson steps up to the dish, facing 100 legend Maddox. Full count. The pitch. Grounder up the middle, could be 2 to second, 1 to first, double play. A very efficient and quick turn between Lajoie and Lloyd as they erase a base runner and the batter in the process. Now 2 away as Hornsby moves up to third. Hornsby does not score in that one. We move to the bottom of the 4th. Maddox still in, facing S.E. Jackie Robinson again. Jackie looking to avoid hitting into another twin killing. The pitch, little grounder to first. No play at second. The throw to first with a pitcher covering is not in time. S.E. Jackie Robinson works out an infield hit as Greg Maddox, Gold Glove winner Greg Maddox, was slow to cover the base. And when Roger Connor got the ball to him, it was a step late. Now 2 aboard and 1 out, and the Miami faithful into it. Ken Griffey Jr. steps in. Look at your lineup card. It's not any old Ken Griffey. It is fire. Ken Griffey. 2-2 count. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Greg Maddox powering a 95-mile-an-hour heater right through Griffey's fire for the second out of this inning. 2 away now. Fans back in their seats, but this rally's not over. Joe Mauer steps in. Maddox comes set, delivers. Easy grounder to second base, fielded by Lajoie. On over to Connor. That will end the inning and strand a couple of Miami base runners. We head to the 5th, still tied at 0. Top 7 now. Still tied at 0. Maddox still in the game for Miami, pitching to Wade Boggs here. 3-1 count on him, and that is a leadoff free pass to Boggs. Next batter, Tony Gwynn. The pitch, looping line drive, base hit to right. Getting an excellent jump on it was Boggs, but he does hold up at second base. The first 2 batters have reached and will be aboard as Griffey steps in. Maddox looking for a ground ball here. He doesn't get one, but this is a can of corn type fly ball to center. Griffey makes the grab. Boggs not attempting to tag up and head to third. So an unproductive out off the bat of Griffey. which will turn things over to Lajoie. Now, Lajoie walks. And so Roger Connor comes up. Great opportunity for the Highland Deer to break this tie here. Bases loaded, 1 out. The Miami Tamps infield drawn in and shifted. We see 3 infielders to the right side of second base. A huge gaping hole at the traditional shortstop position for Roger Connor to try to pull cue shot one through. Full count. The pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. 1 run scores. Tony Gwynn will stop at third, which will keep the bases loaded for Pudge Rodriguez. Infield still in, this time playing it straight away. Maddox in need of a ground ball to get out of this mess. 1-0 count to Pudge, the pitch. Line drive, base hit, right field. Scoring on the play is Gwynn. Here comes Lajoie behind him. He will score ahead of the throw. Make it 3-0 Highland Deer. As face the franchise, Maddox struggling to get through this 7th. So the Highland Deer put the cap on their half of the 7th, and it's 3 runs that they get. We now go to the bottom half, and up comes Fire Griffey to lead off this 7th. The pitch. And Griffey gets into one. Deep to center. Gone. Long gone to center field. Ken Griffey Jr. tattooed that one. A high heater out of the hand of Greg Maddox. Not high enough. As Griffey able to turn it around and hit it above and beyond the batter's eye. Just what the doctor ordered for Miami as they get the crowd into it and get themselves on the scoreboard for the first time today. Very next batter is Joe Mauer. Wind and the pitch. And Mauer, little looper, center field. That's a base hit. And the Tamps back in business. Up next, Ozzy Smith. 2-2 count on him. The pitch grounded to first. First baseman takes it to his own bag, gets the first out, does not risk a throw on to second. Mauer got a good jump on that one. Dissuaded Roger Connor from attempting to get the lead runner. So a 3 unassisted putout will move up Joe Mauer into scoring position. For Ty Cobb, 3-1 count on him. Ball 4. Miami now has the tying runs aboard. The go-ahead run and Tony Gwynn at the plate. The pitch. And Gwynn loops it to center field, a base hit. Around third is Mauer. He's going to score without a throw. Make it 3-2 now. And Tamps with the tying run and scoring position. Maddox will stay in this ball game to face Shoeless Joe. Very dangerous hitter in a very dangerous spot here. Game 4 hanging in the balance. The pitch. Little blooper on the infield. Infield fly rule called. Who's going to grab it? Nap Lajoie comes in and puts the squeeze on it for the second out of the inning. So now the Highland Deer 100 legend Maddox 1 strike away and 1 out away from getting out of this trouble. An inning that was trouble for both Maddoxes this 7th. He faces Hornsby. The pitch. Strike 3, swinging. A 78-mile-an-hour circle change from Maddox gets Hornsby swinging over the top and stranding a couple runners. But before the inning lets out, 2 runs cross. And it's now a 3-2 ball game as we head to the 8th. Top 8 now. Highland looking to add on. They've got the Tamps, Greg Maddox, still in the game. And they send up Ken Griffey. The pitch. Griffey, little blooper. That ball's going to get down. Going from first to third is Cobb. He'll be safe in there ahead of the throw. And Highland Deer in business here in the 8th. Lajoie comes up with the 2 out and runner in scoring position opportunity. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. The home fans love it. And they now head to the home half of the 8th, only needing 1. Roger Connor will get them started. Into this game comes Walter Johnson, the ace reliever of the Highland Deer. He protected a small 2-run lead in game 1. Now he's being asked to get the final 6 outs with a 1-run lead here in game number 4. He starts off his appearance and this 8th inning by walking Roger Connor on 5 pitches. Not what you want to see here in Miami. Up next, Jackie Robinson. As Ricky Henderson comes into the game as a pinch runner. Before the pitch, we check on the runner back. Ricky Henderson does steal second base. And now will stand out there in scoring position as Jackie Robinson faces this 0-2 offering. The pitch. Grounder to second. Easy pitch and catch retires Jackie, but Ricky Henderson, by virtue of the stolen base on the prior pitch, able to move on over to third and is now 90 feet away from tying this ball game here in the 8th. And they do tie it. They do tie it on what appears to be a pass ball or a wild pitch. Griffey is at the plate. Fire Griffey. We've seen him at the center of it all today. And he was batting while this game got tied. Ricky Henderson scoring either on a wild pitch or a pass ball. We can check it in the box score. But now Griffey's batting, and instead of trying to tie it, he's got the opportunity to dial 9 for long distance and take the lead. Let's see what he does. The pitch. Little blooper up the middle, base hit. Oh, and Griffey's going for second. Griffey takes the extra base. The Highland Deer Griffey bobbled the ball for a short second, allowing the Tamps Griffey to take an extra base and head on into second base. That'll be an error. Joe Mauer walks, which brings up Ozzy Smith with an opportunity to give Miami the lead here in the bottom of the 8th. 1 out. The pitch. Grounder to short. To second 1. Unable to complete the double play. A fielder's choice erases Joe Mauer at second base. But they will turn over the lineup and still have runners at the corners with 2 away for Ty Cobb. Miami fans on their feet, needing any kind of single here, any kind of base hit to bring home Griffey and give themselves a lead heading into the 9th. 1-2 count. Walter Johnson comes set. First he checks on the runner back. 2-2 count now. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 99 miles an hour on the gun. Enough to get past Ty Cobb and push us into the 9th, all knotted up at 3. Here in the 9th, we start with Roger Connor against Mariano Rivera of Miami. 1-1 count on Connor here to lead off the 9th. Wind and the pitch. Little grounder up the middle. Jackie Robinson's got it. On over to first in time, 1 away. 1 out now in the inning. Pudge Rodriguez steps in. 2-2 count on him. Wind and the pitch. That one's laced into left field for a single. A 1-out single for Pudge, which gives way to Pop Lloyd. Not going to pinch hit here in the 9th. Let's see what Pop Lloyd has in store in this clutch moment here in the 9th inning of a tie game. Line drive up the middle, base hit. Pop Lloyd reaching into his bag of tricks to find a seeing eye single up the middle. Make it first and second, 1 out. And the Highland Deer flip the lineup over and bring up best hitter in the game, Shoeless Joe. The pitch. Shoeless Joe lines a base hit to right. Around third is Hornsby. He will stop there. They are now loaded here in Miami. Up comes Ty Cobb. Infield for the Tamps comes in. They are going for Hornsby at the plate. One away here. This game hanging in the balance. The pitch. Grounded to second. To home at one in time. They do get one at home. Jackie Robinson fires down to Joe Mauer, covering the plate. Was sure of getting one. Rogers Hornsby slides in, breaks up the double play. But Miami does get the lead runner at the plate and the pivotal and important second out here in the ninth inning. Up comes Jackie Robinson next. The infield able to go back. 2 outs in the inning. Rivera needing one more out in the inning. The pitch. Line drive center field. Long run. Diving catch. Ken Griffey Jr. lays out. Makes a diving catch. Saves 2 runs from scoring. Maybe 3. And keeps this game tied at 3 as we go to the bottom of the ninth. Unbelievable play by Ken Griffey Jr. Bottom 9, it's hero time. Hero time in Miami. Every person that steps in the box represents the winning run. Now, who's got the hero blood in their veins tonight? We'll start with Tony Gwynn. Wind in the pitch from Walter Johnson. Gwynn rifles it to short. Deep in the hole. Long throw. Pop Lloyd, but in time. 1 up and 1 down. Next up, Shoeless Joe. Wind and a pitch to Shoeless, and Shoeless laces a base hit to left field. Shoeless aboard, a great base runner, a speedy base runner. And now aboard representing that winning run. That's going to get the Miami crowd into this one as Hornsby comes up next. First to check on the runner back. The pitch, runner going to second. Throw down in time. Shoeless Joe Jackson caught stealing on a fastball on the outer half of the plate, and that erases the base runner here in the Miami half of the ninth. 2 outs now for Hornsby. Strike 3 called. Hornsby tried to check his swing, but the home plate umpire rings him up anyway. And that's going to do it for the home half of the ninth, which means free baseball. We head on into the 10th, still tied 3-3. Starting off this visitor half of the 10th inning is Tony Gwynn facing Mariano Rivera. The pitch, fly ball center field. Can of corn for Griffey, slides on over, makes the grab. 1 up and 1 down. 2 away now. Nap Lajoie, the next batter. Wind in the pitch, and that ball's hit well. Deep left field. Ranging back, but making the grab is Shoeless Joe Jackson. A laser beam off the bat of Lajoie, but Shoeless Joe got a great jump on it, had a beat on it, and reached up and able to put the squeeze on it. We head to the bottom half of the 10th. 3-3. Bottom 10, Hank Aaron steps up, still facing Walter Johnson. Now we know that Walter came into this game in the 8th. He pitched the 8th. He pitched the 9th. He is now pitching the 10th, which means that we will not see Walter in Game 5. We will likely not see him in Game 6, and he is so critical to the Deer. They really need to walk away with this one. Well, what does Hank Aaron have in store here to lead off this 10th? He grounds to short. Pop Lloyd on over to Roger Connor. 1 up and 1 down. Jackie Robinson SE comes up next. Full count on him. Wind and the pitch. Grounder to short and through. Rifled that ball to shortstop. Pop Lloyd just out of his range. Pop Lloyd just didn't have the range to get on over and make that play. And it's going to put Jackie SE aboard. Jackie, a great base runner. And now representing the winning run here in the bottom of the 10th. Ken Griffey comes up, and it's not just any old Ken Griffey. We've got Fire Griffey into the batter's box. The pitch. Jackie's trying to take second. The throw down in time. For the second time in 2 innings, Miami runs into an out on the base paths. Roy Campanella putting on a catching clinic here tonight. And the Tamps now have 2 outs and nobody on in the 10th for Fire Griffey. 1-2 pitch to Griffey. He swings and misses, which signs us up for an 11th inning, at least. Top of the 11th, Roger Connor stepping in for the Deer. Full count. The pitch from Mo, and he laces a single to the right side. Just through the hole. And so the Deer have their leadoff runner aboard. Up next, Roy Campanella, double play candidate for the Tamps. The pitch. Little blooper, right side and through. Roger Connor got a late jump, but he's even still going to be able to end up at third base. Outfield playing deep there. And now the Tamps in some severe trouble with 2 aboard, nobody out. They will bring the infield in, and I shudder to think what happens on the other side of this spacebar press here tonight. But Pop Lloyd is in the batter's box with the game on the line here. 0-2 count. The pitch. Line drive, base hit to left. Pop Lloyd unties it here in the 11th. Felt as gross to say as you can imagine. Still in the top of the 11th, 2 aboard, 2 out. Brooks Robinson steps into the batter's box for the Deer, looking to extend this lead. Mo looking to get out of it, but it's not going to work. Rifle down the first base line. That's extra bases for Robinson. That's 2 additional runners across the plate. The Deer now lead 6-3. I think Lowry's on it here. Pop Lloyd hits somewhere around 539 in Perfect League playoffs, or Perfect League highlights. That's a fact. All right, bottom 11. Miami up against it here. Look who's just going hero ball here. Walter Johnson pitched the 8th, pitched the 9th, pitched the 10th, and here he is in the 11th trying to hammer it down. He faces Ty Cobb with 1 away. Ozzy aboard the pitch. Cobb gets into one. Deep right field. Back, and gone! Home run from Ty Cobb. This adds more than a little intrigue to this one, as it's now a 1-run game. We've got Walter Johnson potentially running on fumes here in his 4th inning of work, and we've got the Miami top of the lineup with 2 outs to find a way to manufacture a run. Next batter, Tony Gwynn. Walter Johnson has him in the down to the count 0-2. The pitch. That one's crushed to right field, but a sliding catch in left by in right by shoeless Joe Jackson, robbing Tony Gwynn of a single, keeping him off the bases, and perhaps swinging a little momentum back in the way of the Highland Deer. 2 outs now. Best hitter in the game, Shoeless, comes up. 3-0 count. I wouldn't groove one here. Shoeless has the green light and would be more than happy to deposit one into the right field bleachers if you just throw one down Main Street. 3-0 count. Fans on their feet. The pitch. Ball 4. Tying run aboard. Winning run at the plate. Hornsby bats against Walter Johnson. I'd love to know how many pitches Walter Johnson has thrown to this point. We've got to be nearing the end. Shoeless Joe on first, a great base runner. Hornsby needs to gap one to tie it. Needs to park one to win it. The pitch. Ground ball to short. Pop Lloyd feels it, takes the short throw to second. And the Highland Deer have come into Miami and won Game 4 by a score of 6-5. The purple jersey Deer dance out in front of home plate and have to feel good about this one. Let us check the box score and see what happened. Let's look at this Walter appearance. So this was a stuff-boosted reliever Walter, hero bowling 60 pitches. Not something that you see very frequently. And it wasn't even his best outing of his career. 4 innings, 3 earned. He allowed 8 base runners and a homer. But it was just enough. We've talked at length about how important he was to the Highland construct, to the Highland team design. He pitched in Game 1, Highland Deer won. He pitched in Game 4, Highland Deer won. And that is the formula for them. Deploying their primo assets in primo games, in primo spots, and getting wins. For an 11-inning game, only having 4 total pitchers go is quite odd. But it's going to leave both teams pretty well rested for their pens as we can shift right into Game 5. And let's do just that. All right, game number 5. Sim is just sitting there waiting for us. Let's get to it. What do we have waiting for us here? We've got the Miami Warren Spawn on the hill, and he is facing a lineup that's actually got a ton of lefties for a versus left lineup. We've got 4 lefties going, in addition to Pudge Rodriguez, who we know doesn't bring much with the bat. So Highland Deer putting out a lineup that Spawn is really tailored for here. Spawn could have some success against this order. The vulnerabilities for Spawn would really be the Lajoie and Hornsby matchups, in addition to a lesser extent, Willie Mays. But let's get this one started, and we do start with Willie Mays. $38 tonight here in Miami, as global warming has clearly kicked in 2071. And we start off this game with a little blooper to right field. Hit deeper than a blooper, but it's 1 up and 1 down for Warren Spawn. We go bottom 1. Miami with an opportunity to take an early lead. They've got Shoeless Joe on second, 2 outs, and Hornsby at the plate. The pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. Shoeless around third. He's going to try to score the throw all the way through. Not in time. Make it 1-0 Miami here in the first. We go bottom 4. Miami looking to add to their lead. They'll send up Hornsby. He got the RBI single in the first. What does he have for an encore? And he crushes this ball. Deep left center. Gone. 474 happy feet for the Miami Tamps slugger. Now with both RBIs in this ball game, 2-0 Miami. Top 6 now. Highland Deer looking to get into this game. They'll send up Gwynn to lead off this 6th. Full count on him, the pitch. Ball 4. Leadoff walk for Gwynn. He'll lead off right into a Pudge Rodriguez, second batter. Double play candidate here, and that's what Spawn is in the market for. The pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. And Gwynn's going to try for third. The throw not in time. Highland Deer aggressive on the base paths, and it paying off here in the 6th. 2 on and nobody out. Up comes Willie Mays, 1-2 count on him. The pitch. And that ball is belted. Deep left center. Gone. Willie Mays showing off some power to the power alley. Putting that one 480 feet out beyond the bullpen in left field. Make it 3-2 Highland Deer, as this game has just turned on a dime. Still top 6th. Spawn trying to get out of trouble before more crooked numbers are hung up on the board. 2-1 count on Hornsby, and Hornsby loops one into center. Around third is Cobb. He will score without a throw. Make it 4-2 Highland. Off the RBI single from Rogers Hornsby. Bottom 7. Time for the Tamps to strike back. They'll send up a tired Joe Mauer to lead off this inning. He's ahead in the count. 2-1 the pitch. And he gets into one. Deep left field. Back, 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 back. Gone! Joe Mauer! Sour cream. Guacamole. All you need for this Oppo taco. 4-3. They cut the Deer lead in half. Fireworks here in Miami. We have got a tight game brewing. A 1-run game here in the bottom of the 7th. Shoeless Joe bats with 2 outs and Tony Gwynn aboard. The pitch. Strike 3 called. Pedro Martinez able to get the call on a change on the outer half of the plate. Shoeless Joe didn't like it one bit. Put up a mild argument at home, but then heads to the dugout as they've got bigger fish to fry and getting back into this game. We go top 8. Highland Deer looking for insurance. And they're sending up Rogers Hornsby, who's already had one heck of a ball game. 1-0 count on him, the pitch. Hornsby loops one to center field, a base hit. Cobb around second, he'll stop there. 2 on and 2 out now for Shoeless. Shoeless does not come through. So we go bottom 8, and up comes the Tamps Hornsby. Now, we know Hornsby had a ribby in the 1st. We know he had a homer in the 4th. Here he is in the 8th, starting things off, and it appears as if the Deer want nothing to do with him. Suter down on the count, 3-0. I have no doubt that Hornsby has the green light here if he finds something that he likes. Suter, a new pitcher in this game. He winds and delivers, and he's going nowhere near the plate with this one. An unintentional, intentional walk if I've ever seen one. And Hornsby takes the bag and represents the tying run here in the 8th. Apparently he's erased by a double play or something similar. I see what happened. So Hornsby walks, and they pull him in favor of Ricky Henderson as a pinch runner, and Ricky Henderson, in all likelihood, caught stealing on the base paths. If true, that would make it the 3rd caught stealing in the past 2 games for this Miami base running group. Absolutely devastating late in close ball games to be acquiring outs on the base paths. But 2 out, nobody on now for Jackie Robinson as he faces Suter in the bottom half of the 8th. Wind and the pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. A huge inning out of Bruce Suter to keep this Highland Deer lead intact. We now head to the 9th. Highland Deer 4, Miami Tamps 3. Here in the 9th, the Deer would love nothing more than to find themselves in insurance runner 5. They'll start off this 9th with Wade Boggs heading up against face of the franchise, Trevor Hoffman, and Boggs rifles one into the gap. He's got extras. He'll head to second, slide in there with a leadoff double, and set up the bottom 3rd of the order with an opportunity to give them that insurance run they so dearly want. So Brooks Robinson is retired. Pop Lloyd comes into this game as a pinch runner for the Highland Deer. Ricky Henderson works a walk. And now Pudge Rodriguez bats with 2 on, 1 out, and a 2-2 count. Hoffman to Pudge, and Pudge laces a base hit to right field. The pinch runner, Pop Lloyd, around third, runs through a stop sign, and is thrown out at the plate. We talked about the Tamps getting out on the base paths, and now the Highland Deer have committed the same crime. Pop Lloyd, with a base running blunder, gets himself thrown out at the plate, and there are now 2 outs here in this 9th inning. Home fans love it. Next batter is Willie Mays. Tamps 1 easy out away from getting out of this trouble. Can they retire Willie? And Willie loops one to right, a base hit. Around third is Ricky. He's going to try to score. Safe. Highland ends up with the insurance run they so desired, as Ricky Henderson able to score from second base on the looping single from Willie Mays. Make it 5-3 Deer. Bottom 9. Deer protecting a 2-run lead, and they will start off against Ken Griffey Jr. Miami fans on their feet trying to root on their guys to come through in this moment here. Full count on Griffey. Tamps need a base runner. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Liam Hendricks powers a heater past Griffey. 1 up and 1 down. Joe Mauer gets out. Yes. So Mauer gets out. Ozzy Smith gets aboard. And now Ty Cobb bats, representing the tying run with 2 outs here in the 9th. Miami fans on their feet trying to root their team on to tie this one up. Liam Hendricks trying to close it out. 2-2 count on Cobb. First they check on Ozzy. Runner back. The pitch. Little dinker. Going to be a tough play. And that will be an infield hit. Infield hit here as Brooks Robinson charged on the play, grabbed it. It appeared as if he tried to tag the runner Ozzy Smith on his way to second. He did not get him and was thus unable to throw on to first. The net of it is now we've got the tying run aboard, and up to bat comes the winning run, represented by none other than Tony Gwynn. 1-1 count. Liam Hendricks on the hill. 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. The pitch. Little blooper right field. Base hit! Just out of the reach of the second baseman, Nap Lajoie. That ball gets down. We are talking inches, folks. Just out of the reach of the outstretched arm. The Tamps all move up station to station, and they are now loaded. Bases full of Miami players. Ty Cobb represents the tying run at second. Tony Gwynn represents the winning run at first. Let's use our matchup analyzer for this game-determining play here in the 9th inning. Shoeless Joe Jackson versus right. Greener than a Christmas tree. Liam Hendricks versus left. Not exactly what you're looking for. Below perfect league average in most categories. What will happen here? A single ties it. A double wins it. Any sort of out gives Highland Deer the 3-2 series lead they look for. The pitch to Shoeless Joe. Up the middle, base hit! 1 run scores, around third is Cobb. He's gonna try to score, and he will! We are all tied at 5. here in Miami. Miami fans going nuts. This is pandemonium. Up to the plate comes Cal Ripken. Not quite the great matchup that last one was. Let's set it up for you just in case. We see Cal really struggles versus right-hand pitching. Only a 633 on the OPS. And Liam Hendriks, his numbers look a lot prettier versus righties. But that's why they play the game. Could Cal Ripken come through for the Tamps and walk this one off? 0-1 count. The pitch. Ground ball to third. Tough play. Fielded in the hole, across, and in time. And we are heading once again to extra innings here in Miami. A wild ninth inning sees the Tamps tie it up on a 2 RBI single off the bat of best card in the game, Shoeless Joe. And now we head to the 10th. Leading off for the Deer in this 10th is Ty Cobb. He'll face Trevor Hoffman. 1-1 count the pitch. And he crushes that one in the right center field gap. Going to be easy extra bases for Cobb. He'll be in with a standing double and put the go-ahead run in scoring position here with nobody out here in the 10th. Extreme UW right on top of it in the chat. Right on top of it. Hornsby up next. 1-2 count. The pitch. And Horns with a lazy fly to left. Ranging over his Shoeless. He'll make the grab. Runner bluffs a move, but he won't go. 1 out now here in the 10th. Full count for Roger Connor. Ken Griffey Jr. has walked and is now aboard, and the Tamps are in some trouble. Miami fans come to their feet trying to urge their Trevor Hoffman to either get a double play ball here or at least get Connor retired. Connor, an excellent hitter versus right-hand pitching with a penchant for getting on base. Can he turn the trick here? The pitch. Ground ball to first. To second, one. Unable to complete the double play. But they do retire a lead runner at second base. And now there's 2 out in the inning. And they've got an opportunity to end it here against Brooks Robinson. 1-1 count on him. The pitch. Fly ball center field. Ranging over is Griffey. He's got it! We head to the bottom of the 10th. Tied at 5. We start this bottom of the 10th with Roger Connor batting for Miami. Full count on him. Still facing Liam Hendriks. And Roger Connor works a leadoff walk. Gets the Miami fans right back into it. They've now got the winning run aboard as Jackie Robinson SE steps into the box. First to check on the runner, a runner back. 1-0 count, the pitch. A bunt! The throw will have to go to first. A successful sacrifice bunt off the bat of Jackie Robinson moves Roger Connor, a decent base runner, into scoring position. And now the Tamps will have 2 outs to work with to try to find a way to bring him home. First up is Ken Griffey Jr. And let's notice that Ken Griffey Jr. has lost his fire emoji. He is no longer Super Ken Griffey. He is just old Ken Griffey. Is there still some heroics in that bat of his? 1-1 count. The pitch. Little blooper left side. Who's going to grab it? That'll be Rogers Hornsby making the play for out number 2. An infield pop out from Ken Griffey Jr. So the Highland Deer intentionally walk Mauer. They want nothing to do with Mauer's bat in this situation. They instead want to face Ozzy. And Ozzy is up there. Weight of the world on his shoulders. Any old single away from tying this ball game. He's down on the count 1-2, but the Miami fans are at his back. 1-2 count. The pitch. Called called strike three. Ozzy didn't like the call one bit. A backdoor slider from Trevor Hoffman gets the call, ends the inning, strands 2 runners on the bases, and signs us up for at least 11. Top 11 now. We start off this inning with Rickey Henderson. If you're the Tamps, you want to keep him off the bases, and Rickey is 1 ball away from earning free passage 2 at the pitch. Ball 4. Now, will Rickey be in motion? Pudge is at the plate. Let's see if he takes a pitch here to give Rickey an opportunity to steal down to second to avoid the risk of the double play. The pitch. Rickey is on the move. No throw from the catcher. Maurer will just eat that one. Rickey Henderson steals second, uncontested, and now represents the go-ahead run on second base with nobody out. 0-2 on Pudge. The pitch. Swing! And a miss, strike 3. It works out as if it were a sacrifice bunt from Pudge. But either way, Henderson still in scoring position with 1 out here in the 11th. Willie Mays at the plate. I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked if we see Henderson try to get aggressive and steal another bag on a tired Maurer. 2-1 count. The pitch. Fly ball center field and well hit. Heading back is Griffey, and he won't get there. Willie Mays puts this one in the bleachers to give the Highland Deer a 7-5 lead. 431-foot home run. And the Boo Birds come out here in Miami. Not what the crowd wanted to see, as Willie Mays has just changed this game with a long ball. Clemens now pitches to Cobb. Here, still in the top of the 11th, and this ball is looped out to left. That's going to be a base hit. Little 2-out single for Cobb. That'll bring up Hornsby. And Hornsby's retired. We go bottom 11, and it is time for the Deer to hammer down a save. It's something they've struggled to do. They also don't have at their disposal their primary relief ace, Walter Johnson. So instead, this one falls in the hands of Trevor Hoffman, who spent a whole lot more time in middle relief this year than closing in high leverage situations. Ty Cobb, full count, looking to work his way aboard. Tamps in need of a base runner before anything else. Wind and the pitch. Little grounder, tough play. Hoffman has it, throws to first in time. 1 up and 1 down. Now 2 outs in the inning. Last hope for the Tamps is Shoeless Joe. Now he came through big time earlier in this ball game. Can he get aboard here to keep the line moving for Miami? Wind and the pitch. Little grounder out in front of the plate. Fielded by the catcher. Throw to first in time. The Highland Deer win their second consecutive extra inning affair in Miami, giving them the pivotal Game 5 and a 3-2 lead as we head back to Highland. Now, we spent a lot of time talking about both of these teams being home field dependent teams. Both teams way better at home than they were on the road. And you see neither team able to win the majority of their home games. Highland Deer absorbed a split in their park. Miami loses 2 of 3, both losses in heartbreaking fashion in extra innings. And now we'll have to win consecutive games in Highland to capture a World Series victory. Tech 15. Hoffman's fine. Griffey's 6 batters away. Truth. Truth indeed. All right, so let's load up this 9 p.m. local sim. I think it's going to be an off day. I could be wrong. This actually could be a game. I think it should be a game. It could be a long sim. All right. So I'm showing an off day on my side here. But we could be 5 minutes into a long sim. Maybe Port Dog, you can be my assistant here and let me know if we're 5 minutes into a long sim or if we're just into the off day. But boy, what a series we've seen so far. I think it's time to start handicapping potential MVPs. Let's take a look on the Highland Deer side. They're 1 win away. 1 win away from potentially being crowned champion for the second time of this game cycle. And on their side of the fence, we've had Ty Cobb with a productive World Series. Hasn't had a homer, only has 1 ribby, but productive from the sense that he's been on base the entire series long. 542 on the OBP. As I realize that I'm not even showing you guys this. So we're over here. Pop Lloyd 542 on the OBP, or excuse me, Ty Cobb 542. Shoeless Joe Jackson right behind him. Very productive series as well. And we see Tony Gwynn not too far behind him. So 3 really good candidates there for the Deer. Might come down to who has the biggest Game 6 if the Deer were to win this. Those are probably your only 3 candidates on offense. Let's go look at the pitching. And pitching-wise, I wouldn't say that we have an overwhelming candidate here. We've got Warren Spahn taking the hill for this game. And I don't think we've seen him yet in this series. No, we have not. So I think if it's Highland Deer, it's going to be one of those hitters. Over on the Miami Tamps side, we've got a Ty Cobb that is just running away with it. If the Tamps are able to pull this out, 3 home runs, 6 ribby, Ty Cobb OPSing over 1.1 is your leader in the clubhouse. That being said, there's a couple of pitchers, notably Pedro Martinez. Pedro with an ace victory already in this series. If he was able to win a Game 7 in dominating fashion, maybe he could supersede the series that Ty Cobb's had. Chess Safari asking if this is the last series on stream. It is not. So one of the things that we led off with is that this is the second to last Perfect League World Series. We're doing this one. We're going to see who wins between the Highland Deer and the Miami Tamps. And then we are going to do next week as well. And that will serve as the last one. So next week will be the last chance for Perfect Team 21 for you to see me calling a Perfect League World Series. If you're in the Perfect League, it'll be the last chance for Perfect Team 21 for you to have your series narrated. But after that, we are shifting our focus to PT22. And within PT22, we will not have a Perfect League 2 broadcast until June or thereabouts. And so what we're going to use our time for is we are going to be executing a bridge program that I'm, at least for now, calling Practice Makes Perfect League, where the focus of that broadcast is going to be on reviewing the findings of the highest level play at that moment. Who are the cards that are making an impact? How are the cards playing different in the new game versus how they play in this game? How is defense different? You know, we know what to expect from a backup card defensive rating right now, with range being the dominant attribute. Well, we're going to need some data to figure out what next year looks like. And that's exactly the type of thing that we're going to be looking at. In addition to that, we'll also be checking out the PT ladder and following teams' progress up the ranks, as well as, if we have time, jumping into a little perfect draft. All right, so Port Dog confirms that it is not an off day. So we are 10 minutes late on a Game 6 sim, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. Although my copy here is showing 6 is tomorrow. It should say it's today. Let's load it up. It has been one heck of a ride, guys, to bring these streams to you every week. We've crowned a lot of champions together. We have seen some wild stuff. Nothing as wild as what we saw last week with the Jay Modenhall in Quiz Kid World Series. But we saw Max Fire lose the World Series on a defensive replacement, Willie Mays in right field, dropping a can of corn fly ball. We have seen Ken Griffey Jr. hit countless ninth-inning home runs to change ball games. It has been quite the journey, and it's been a ton of fun to share these games with you. Now, if you guys have ideas about things that we can augment in the next game, besides the matchup analyzer you see here, besides the hitting statistical rundown of the top hitters in the league with our ability to slice and dice, besides the pitcher rundown, besides the team-by-team analysis, which we didn't even talk about yet for this matchup, if you have ideas on things that can be extracted or shown from the Perfect League data, would love to hear it. Would love to hear it and incorporate it in future broadcasts. We definitely want to be improving at what we're doing. We want to have a more entertaining, a more insightful, a more educational program. So please, if you guys feel there's a stone unturned, or if you feel that there's an angle that we can approach this from that we're not doing today, please do let us know, and we can certainly try to incorporate that into future iterations. 12 minutes into our sim window here. If we're getting a long sim, we should see something in the next 3 to 15 minutes. As the Deer are one win away from a second title. Now I'm going to try to remember off the top of my head all of our 2 title winners. Let's see how I do. We've got API, Mac Jacks with 3, Jay Malay, M. Wayne 418. Oh man, I'm going to feel horrible for the people that I forget. Who am I? Roscoe? I can't forget Roscoe. Come on. All right, I think that's where I'm going to stop. Who did I forget? Who did I forget? Mac Jacks, M. Wayne, Jay Malay, Tech. Oh no, I forgot Tech. They just happened too. Unbelievable. See, it's his generosity. It was Tech foregoing the second trophy that mentally for me made it as if it never occurred. Made it as if it never occurred. Although that's a horrible excuse because he won one with Osgood and he won one with Ottawa. But these are our multi-champion guys. Mac Jacks with 3, M. Wayne with 2, Jason Malay 2, API 2, Tech with 2, Roscoe with 2, and then if this sim comes in favor of King Julian, in favor of DLL Slayer King Julian, then he will add his name to this exclusive list. Longhorn suggesting my salary be cut by half. An appropriate punishment for sure. So King Julian and his Highland Deer last won the Perfect League World Series in 2048. So in real calendar months, I want to say that was somewhere in the neighborhood of September-ish. So it's been some time, But as I told you at the outset, 19 weeks in perfect, 13 appearances in the Perfect League playoffs. King Julian, no stranger to this moment, no stranger to this stage, and could be on the precipice of grabbing that second trophy. Port Dog saying the sim is in. Let's go get it and see what happens. Now, let's not act as if anything is known. We've had long sims that did not go certain ways. We've had short sims that did go certain ways. So we don't know nothing right now. But let's load this up and let's see what we see. All right, beautiful. We've got a sim to watch. Let's do it. Game 6 here in Highland. We are either pushing this to a Game 7, which everyone other than King Julian would love, or King Julian's winning that second title. He's sending out Warren Spawn to try to do so. Now, remember, this park is very different than the neutral park we just played in Miami. This is a lefty cheese park, and we see the Highland Deer trotting out 7 lefties to try to take advantage of it. As Ty Cobb lifts this fly ball to right. Easy catch there, 1 up, 1 down. Over on the Miami side with Warren Spawn opposing him, only 3 lefties on the lineup card for the Tamps. All right, we go bottom 1. Highland Deer send up Shoeless Joe here to lead off this first. Wind and the pitch, and that ball's crushed. Deep left center, carrying it out of here. Shoeless Joe Jackson knows how to start a game in style as he hits his second leadoff homer of this World Series. This one 417 feet into the first row of the bleachers. We go bottom 4 now. Highland Deer looking to add on. They send up Nap Lajoie with Griffey aboard. 1 out, the pitch. And Lajoie gets into one. Back, 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 back. Gone! Home run! 3-0 Deer here in the 4th. Not the furthest home run you'll ever see, as this one squeaks out of here down that left field line. Nap Lajoie able to turn around a 101-mile-an-hour heater thrown by Big Train Walter Johnson. And the Deer find themselves with a 3-run lead in a World Series clinching game. Now, can they hold it? It's the top of the 7th. And they're trying to. Shoeless Joe aboard. They're Warren Spawn working on a shutout and facing Willie Mays here. 1-2 count on him. The pitch. Grounder up the middle. Could be 2. To second, 1. To first. Double play. Nap Lajoie fields it. He was shifted. Fields it directly behind the bag. Takes it to the bag himself. And then fires on to first base to complete the play and get the slow-footed Mays for the twin killing. We go top 8. Spawn still dealing, looking for that shutout. He's got to get through Hank Aaron first. Down on the count, 2-1 to Hank. The pitch, and Hank laces a base hit to left. A leadoff single for Hank Aaron. Next batter up is Cal Ripken. Cal down on the count, 0-2. The pitch. That one's crushed into the right center field gap. A long run and a long chase for Shoeless. He gets it, but not before Hank Aaron ends up at third and Ripken ends up at second. 2 aboard now. Nobody out here in the 8th. We'll see if the Highland Deer bullpen kicks into high gear. Now let's remember their bullpen ace, Walter Johnson, had to throw a ton of pitches in Game 4 in Miami. Might not be available here in this one. Jackie Robinson comes up to the plate. Down on the count, 1-2 the pitch. Little grounder, fielded by Spawn, checks the runner, throws to first in time. One out here in the 8th. Next batter up, Roy Campanella. The pitch. Campy grounds it to short. Pop Lloyd grabs it, throws it to first in time. A runner does score. But at this point in the game, that's a trade the Highland Deer would love to make and do. Make it 3-1. Now 2 outs in the 8th with a runner at third. That runner does not score. It is insurance run time for the Deer as Ty Cobb starts off this 8th inning facing Walter Johnson. 1-2 count the pitch, and Cobb laces a base hit up the middle. Turns around a 98-mile-an-hour fastball for a lead-off single. Next batter is Wade Boggs. 2-1 count on him, the pitch. Ground ball, base hit to right. Cobb to second. He's going to go all the way to third. The throw, not in time. Runners at the corners. Nobody out for the Deer as they are trying to swoop in for the kill. Up comes Tony Gwynn. The pitch. Line drive, base hit. Make it 4-1 Deer on the RBI single from Gwynn. We go top 9. It's 5-1 Highland Deer. They are 1 out away from celebration. 1 out away from a second perfect league World Series ring. They've got to get through Rogers Hornsby to get it. As one aboard, protecting a 4-run lead. The pitch. Fly ball. Center field. Griffey there. Makes the grab. The Highland Deer are your 2071 Perfect League World Series champions. A round of applause for King Julian, as Warren Spahn was masterful for him. A complete game, 1 earned run, masterpiece to win Game 6, as the offense was able to run it up against Walter Johnson for 5 earned in 7 innings. And that's all that they needed. Let's update our score bug for one final time in this World Series. And that's gonna do it. Our series MVP, as expected, was Shoeless Joe Jackson. We thought it could be whoever had the biggest game in Game 6. Shoeless Joe did hit a homer to lead off the game. He grabs the MVP award. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen. There's your final Perfect League bracket. There it is. One final round of applause for the Highland Deer. And a round of applause for the Miami Tamps. They have now made it to the Perfect League World Series a couple times, have walked away empty-handed both times, but making it is an achievement unto itself. All right, a couple of notes before we close up. So, one of the things that we announced on this stream is that next week, next Sunday, will be our final Perfect League broadcast. After next Sunday, we will, until PT22 has a Perfect League, have a bridge program called Practice Makes Perfect League, where we are going to be basically hunting for the meta cards that you need in your lineup. Hunting for the understanding that you need for how the engine changes. Need to rewire how you look at cards. Need to rewire how you target auction house purchases. How you make the decisions that inform the direction of your team. That is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be looking at data. We are going to be looking at the teams as they progress up the perfect team ladder. And we are going to do that until there is a perfect team 22 perfect league to then resume perfect league World Series broadcasts. So I hope you guys all will join me on that journey definitely next week for our final World Series broadcast for 21. And then for our Bridge Series, our limited time Practice Makes Perfect League series that leads us up into the PT22 World Series. But again, thank you for joining tonight. Thank you for being part of the broadcast. Congratulations again to King Julian, the DLL Slayer, as he picks up another honor for this game cycle. And with that, I will turn you guys over to Dishnet, who I believe will be very shortly following me here tonight. And we will see you guys next week.